We'll start off with the Thursday night game, of course, tonight with the Ravens at the Buccaneers. First of all, we're split on the Thursday night game for a second straight week.
This went well.
Yeah, you won last night's Thursday night. I will go ahead and take the Buccaneers at home to bounce back off of a humiliating loss. I think now I used this logic last week and it didn't work. But Tom off a loss is usually fantastic. I think here's the thing though. When you lose to Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, it's like, okay, all right, it's a good organization. They have a really strong defense. We played okay, and they weren't quite at rock bottom yet. And then you lose at Carolina to PJ Walker.
Now
That's rock bottom. And I think for me, the thing about Brady, and I think Burrow has this quality too, is when their back is against the wall, that's when they're at their best. I think that's what separates Brady. And I think his back's against the wall here. I think if you go 3-5 through 8 weeks, that's tough. That's tough to come back from. So I do think his back's against the wall, and I think he's going to respond well. I think the Bucs win in a really, really close game.
Oh, I don't know. I can't bet against Lamar and Baltimore right now. This roster, healthy, starting to roll now, getting into mid-season form. It's really hard to take anybody but Lamar, especially against an aging Brady, who I have my concerns with. I talked about it a little bit when we were recapping in the second segment. But look, I don't think he has the same juice. He doesn't throw the deep ball nearly as well. He's not hitting on many throws over, I guess, 10 to 12 yards. Everything seems to be short, and I just have to roll with Baltimore.
That's fair. Can't really blame you there, so I just feel, I'll roll with Brady. So let's go Broncos at the Jags. We both like the Jags here. First of all, the Broncos with Russ injured, I don't know. I think he's questionable right now, but either way, I think even if he plays, I don't think the offense is dynamic.
Yeah.
Especially if he doesn't play, that's an obvious Jacksonville. But I think even if he does play, I'm still going with Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean, I'd take Jacksonville either way. I just don't like anything that the Broncos have going offensively.
That's fair.
As a whole, as a unit.
Let's go Cardinals at the Vikings. Vikings off a bye. We're both going to roll with the Vikings here. Like I said, off a bye, they've been, good coaches have been really good off a bye, and I think Kevin O'Connell is a good coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
Arizona hasn't done it consistently. They put up that one really good game this past week, putting up 42.
And that's Kyler's. That's the big thing that's killing them.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I'll roll with the Vikings. Bears at the Cowboys. We'll both take the Cowboys here. I think the Bears, that doesn't happen again. Like them winning in Foxborough. That's not sustainable, and it's not something that they've been able to do consistently and that they won't do consistently. Cowboys have too good of a front seven to get run on like that and to allow Justin Fields any little sliver of comfortability in the pocket. So Cowboys win pretty handily.
Yeah, that pass rush is going to overwhelm the Bears.
Let's go with the Panthers at the Falcons. So the Falcons at home have been a really, really good football team. They can run the ball. It seems like they run the ball better at home. I don't know if it's snap counts. I don't know if it's just they're just comfortable. But they're better running the ball at home. And Mariota at home has been a really, really fantastic quarterback. Pass rating above 110, I want to say. So I'll roll with the Falcons here to beat the Panthers.
Yeah, I like that. And it's one of the bets we have later. So
yeah, we'll get to that obviously later in this segment. But I do like them at -5. Raiders at the Saints. We're split on this one too. I'll pick the Saints at home. Vegas is favored by 1.5. I just like the Saints at home. They're going to get healthier on defense, which is going to be big. I think they get Marshawn Lattimore back to combat the Devontae Adams, the headache that he will inevitably create. And I think Alvin Kamara is going to run the football. The Raiders' run defense is awful, so I'll go with the Saints to run the football. Defense is coming back. They're at home. New Orleans over Vegas. Why do you like the Raiders?
I just like the Raiders because of the Devontae Adams factor. The connection between Devontae and Derek Carr is only getting better. They did all right last week, and I mean there were no big missteps. They won how they should have against the Houston team.
Right.
So I think this week is kind of going to be the same thing. Look, the Saints have a big question mark at QB. Who is it? Is it going to be Taysom or is it
I think it's probably going to be Andy Dalton again, but I don't know if I feel good about that. I'm betting on Andy Dalton for the second week in a row.
Yeah, that's tough. I like the Raiders.
Let's go with the Patriots at the Jets here. We both like the Pats, actually. So the Jets have been playing well. Yeah, that's all good and well, but at the end of the day, we know what Belichick does to young quarterbacks. And now you're going to say, what about Justin Fields? Justin Fields did not win that football game on Monday.
Yeah.
That was a running game. defense win for Chicago. That was not, hey, Bill Belichick couldn't stop Justin Fields, right? I think he's going to fluster Zach Wilson, and he always owns Jets quarterbacks for some reason. That's not even a question.
My big thing is the Jets are not going to be able to sustain any sort of running game, I don't think.
Especially with Breece Hall out now.
That's going to be that's going to be huge.
I think that's a bigger loss than people think.
Yes. He was kind of almost the heartbeat of that offense for a little bit there. And, it sucks to see him go out. But
So, I think we'll both take the Pats there. They're actually favored by 1.5, which is kind of crazy. All right, let's go with the Dolphins at the Lions. We're both going to take the Dolphins. Now, I was thinking about the Lions because this is kind of a little bit of a trap game, right? You're coming off a Sunday night win at home versus Pittsburgh. Now you got to go to Detroit. That'd be tough. But at the end of the day, they are a more talented roster, and the Lions might be without Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's trying to get out of concussion protocol. Yes. It'll be a game-time thing. To me, the Dolphins are a better football team. I worry with Tua off script because you saw they scripted the first 3 drives. Fantastic. Rest of the game, awful. So I do worry about that, but I just got to roll with a more talented team and what I think is the better coach as well.
Yeah.
Steelers at the Eagles.
The Eagles.
I
don't think the Steelers
does it need description?
I don't think the Steelers have anything to compete with this Eagles roster right now.
I'd love to be optimistic, 93.7 The Fan here, and be like, well, they actually have a chance, Pony. No, they don't. No, they don't.
No.
If it was in Pittsburgh, I'd give them a sliver of a shot. It's not, though. It's in Philly. No.
That's a tough spot for a young quarterback.
And the Eagles are coming off a bye.
Oh.
Yeah, that'll work out well. All right, let's go with the Titans at the Texans. Both the Titans here, they've actually quietly ripped off 4 straight wins. Their defense is playing a lot better. Ryan Tannehill's serviceable, and that's about all you can say. He's serviceable. He's winning games.
Yeah.
More so than I can say for Davis Mills, so I guess we'll roll with the Titans. Niners at the Rams here. I was thinking about the Rams. I was going to go Rams off a bye because McVay and, again, good coaches off a bye are fantastic.
But when it's Kyle Shanahan.
But unfortunately, Kyle Shanahan's won, 7 or 8 straight against McVay. And it's getting ridiculous at this point.
And this 49ers defense, and I think what McCaffrey will be able to add over the coming weeks is just going to be one of the best rosters in the NFC. They are going to be a really clear-cut competitor to go deep in the playoffs.
So all things equal, I think obviously Shanahan has shown he's at least head-to-head have been a better coach than McVay. But I think Shanahan off a loss might be more scary to me than McVay off a bye.
A little bit, because he's coming back with something to prove.
Yeah. All right, Giants at the Seahawks. So we're split on this one as well. This will be our third split. You like the Giants.
Yes.
6-1 Giants. Why?
We've talked about it all show. Brian Dable. He's got that offense playing at a really, really good level right now, especially with a really middle-of-the-road guy in Daniel Jones.
Right.
It's really impressive what he's done. They give Saquon the ball a fair amount of the time, and he's usually able to rip off 4 or 5, if not break one.
He's been really, really efficient this year. That's true.
Yeah, he's back to himself, and it looks good for New York, and I don't see them losing that.
So I'll go with Seattle. I'm going to go with Seattle just because, first of all, actually, right now, Geno Smith is a better quarterback than Daniel Jones, so I'll take Geno Smith, and they can run the football. And so now I worry about with the defensive front of the Giants, it's going to be tough sledding, but the 2 rookie tackles for Seattle have been fantastic.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have a nice game. I think it's a close game for sure, like a 28-25 type of game. I think it's close. I think Seattle will make one more play. I think they're a little bit more experienced. We'll go with Seattle over the Giants.
Okay.
All right, the Commanders at the Colts. We're both going to take the Commanders here. Now, the Colts are favored by 3, and at home they've been a much better team, but the Colts are starting Sam Ehlinger, so he's never thrown an NFL pass. Now, granted, he was okay at Texas. Again, okay at Texas. He wasn't, a stud. He wasn't.
And that's a Big 12 school. You're not exactly playing the best of the best there.
Yeah. I know you're saying, Mahomes was too. Yeah, Mahomes was throwing for 600 yards though. So
he kind of stood out a little bit.
Right. Ehlinger I was known for being better at running the ball than throwing the ball. A little Taysom Hill quality to him. I worry about against the front 7 in Washington how that's going to go.
Yeah, that's not exactly what Indy needs either, though.
Yeah, I'll take the Commanders and a more experienced team over the Colts.
100% agree.
Let's go with the Packers at the Bills. I don't think there's much to be said here. The Packers are playing bad football. You tell me what they're good at, and we'll have a discussion about this. I don't think there's anywhere that they excel at. I think that Buffalo excels at almost every position group. So, I think Buffalo wins by like 2 or 3 touchdowns here. Yeah. I mean, they're a 10.5-point favorite. I think they probably even cover. I mean, that's not a bet. We'll get to our bets later. That's not one of them. But that's an interesting line. I'll take Buffalo handily.
Look, I think Buffalo is going to get out to a hot start, and Aaron is just not going to be able to keep the composure or get it even close to together. Yeah. And Buffalo's going to run away with it.
Yeah, and that's in Buffalo. Rookie receivers in Buffalo on Sunday Night Football. Okay, for sure. All right, let's go with the Bengals. The Bengals at the Browns. That's a Bengals win. Joe Burrow and that offense is clicking. They have found it. They are back in rhythm.
Yeah.
And they will be just fine. That's a team that keep your eye on to win the division, to win the NFC North there. He's probably the best quarterback in that division. Well, I mean, he certainly is right now. I think going forward he is as well. You could even argue that he's top 3 in the league right now. He's playing that well. 16 touchdowns, 1 turnover since that week 1, kind of dud. But then again, he had surgery in the offseason.
Yeah.
So since that game, since he's kind of, started to get back in the flow of things, he's been fantastic. Bengals over the Browns. Do you agree, man?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, the Browns
sure.
are not winning.
Cool. Just making sure we're on the same page there. But don't go anywhere, though, because we still have our bets